Hail, viewers. Tonight, I suppose I would like to do an update video of sorts. I do not often do update videos. It has been a very long time. Let me take a sip of water. One moment. I have a variety of content on the channel and a variety of subscribers who all want different content. I have decided to do a quiet prayer series, so to speak. Videos about the writings of Miguel de Molinos, particularly from his book about prayer called The Spiritual Guide, which many of you, unless you've watched my previous videos about it, probably do not know about it. Most people do not, unless of course maybe you're a Quaker or you have something to do with particular Christians like that, which I think are very few actually. The Quakers are quite unique, but I myself am not one, but I know that some of them are inspired by the writings of Miguel de Molinos a good deal, which is quite interesting. I'm going to take another sip. One moment. I would say that if you want to know about quiet prayer, his book is a very good book to read, better than any that I know. So, as some of you may know, most of my content regarding religion, regarding Christianity, has been mostly me as a spectator, basically giving my opinions about what certain people are doing, but at this point I want to offer something substantial in regard to teaching. I think that this is probably the best way I can do that. In my opinion, prayer is the most important aspect of personal religion. Honestly, which is the only important religion, is my opinion, is your own personal experience and basically what you are, basically implementing yourself, something practical that you can rely upon. I think this video has a looping problem. In other words, never mind. In terms of the water, which I have a waterfall here, but sometimes it seems as though it glitches out a little bit. But anyhow, maybe I'm seeing things. I have already completed 2 parts. In regard to videos about Final Fantasy VIII, I've already made a good deal of those. That was not a video series that I had expected to make, but I basically became quite tired of playing Elden Ring, and so I decided to pick up a game that I had basically played years ago, and I decided to address a mystery that was in it. Final Fantasy VIII is a very mysterious game. I was surprised people had appreciated my input so much. I thought, well, surely people are not, that interested in anyone speculating about particular characters and events and different things that, could be considered symbolic in it. But those videos have done quite well and are still doing quite well. But even though they are doing well, I would like to essentially do some Christian content. I know that some of you subscribers have subscribed to the channel for more religious content, and I do appreciate that. And I do plan to release basically this series is going to last a long time. I am going to try to explain everything in Miguel de Molinos' book, use verses, explain things, all types of things. Support my position about prayer with different verses from the Bible. I think most of us would agree that quiet prayer is itself completely supported by the Bible, especially the New Testament, in the words of Jesus Christ. But personally, I've not found too many videos that really explain things in very much detail, especially about old mystics like Miguel, who was persecuted by the Catholic Church because he advocated for quiet prayer in lieu of the traditional Catholic, way of praying, basically with rosaries. A great deal of ceremony is stressed in Catholicism, but Miguel and many others started to want something more substantial. And the Catholic Church had decided to persecute the Quietists. They were never called Quietists. They were just simply regular Christians like anyone else. But over time, when the Catholic Church had put Molinos in prison for the rest of his life, they had decided if they found anyone engaging in the heresy of Quietism, so to speak, they called it a heresy. They called this emphasis upon contemplation and quiet prayer, they called it basically a heresy because it was against the Catholic way of doing things. And their stress upon quiet prayer was in conflict with how should it be said? What are those people called? The Jesuit emphasis upon their particular methods of meditation and so forth, and just very strict regimens of basically mental training, which in a sense is what rosary is. You keep chanting over and over and over again. Not very spiritual, let me put it that way. We do not find any such instruction in the Gospels, and therefore anyone who is going towards more natural prayer, if you are involved with Catholics, oftentimes you are going to receive criticism, and in the past people were really persecuted for it. As far as I know, it was common for people to be burnt upon the stake for not renouncing what the Catholic Church had termed Quietism, which, let me put it this way, the best classifications, the best monikers, or the best names given to a people are those of persecution as far as I am concerned. As far as what this whole quiet prayer teaching is going to be about, this is not something that you may consider to be some type of strict apologetics where I'm teaching you to debate and basically clash with people or just win arguments with people. No, this is all about personal quiet prayer. This does not have to do with deliverance ministry where you're touching people and trying to cast out devils, which I will put it this way. If you know how to pray quietly, if you understand the significance of that in regard to mental discourse, being able to be quiet with the Lord, if you are experienced in this, which it can only be an experience, no one can teach this. So I can read this book about quiet prayer and explain things to you about quiet prayer, but ultimately you have to do it yourself. And me and many others would say that quiet prayer is the deepest type of prayer. There's some people who like to engage in spoken discourse as well as mental discourse. However, the depth of the prayer is never such that you can continue it for, let us say, 30 minutes or even an hour, because oftentimes you run out of words. So what are you going to do? The Lord is with you. The Lord is in you. Now you've run out of things to ask for, but you still want to pray. And you should continue praying even if you do not have words. And this is the idea. Just being silent with the Lord is the deepest of all prayers. Jesus talks about this in a particular verse in the New Testament. I believe there's Matthew, peradventure, some other book, but nonetheless, he talks about people who use a multitude of words to pray. I talk about that in I believe my second video of the series. But essentially, spoken, long, eloquent prayers, even in your mind, as substantial as they are, they can only be so significant, they can only be so personal. I would say the most personal prayer is one that is natural, as though you were talking to your Father, or you were talking to your Master, in other words, God. And the speech should be natural, whether it be spoken or in your mind. And when you have no more words, you can still pray. And that prayer that you have with the Lord without words is probably the most peaceful you can experience. And I can say that, and it may seem weird to some people because they have never tried it before. And to them, that's something odd. They think, I've never had this experience. I just say a few words and finish it. And I am saying that, I and many other people have found that instead of just ending the prayer, oftentimes it is very good, very beneficial, and good in our opinion, in that we can see the goodness of the Lord in it. We can experience the goodness of the Lord in continuing these prayers, even if we do not have words, even if we do not have words to say. I remember when my father was upon his deathbed, and I remember when he had passed. I was very sad, and I did a lot of praying. And let me tell you, in most of those prayers, I did not have words. The trauma and the experience of death was so horrifying to me, and that my father was dying, and passed. And when he passed away, of course, that was terrible for me. I, at the time, felt like basically, committing self-murder. However, I contemplated a good deal. And contemplation is itself a prayer. And so, at that time, let me be honest with you, I did not have any words. I was out of words. I had no words. I had no words for after that time. And so, I received peace as I prayed. But these prayers had no words. I would just sit there in the presence of God, me and the Lord, alone, just sitting there praying. In some cases for hours or an hour at a time. And I had to do that. And had I not done that, I probably would not be here speaking to you today. When I talk about the matter of quiet prayer, this is something let me just put it this way. The more natural you are, the better all of what I say is going to benefit you, and the better your experience will be with it. I can basically tell you, basically teach you the writings of Molinos, or anyone else, even Marguerite Porete. These were martyrs. Marguerite Porete, the Catholic Church burnt her upon a stake. They burned her because she wrote a book about prayer and many other things having to do with the love of God and so forth, and that woman was burned. But that woman had some very excellent experiences, and fortunately, her book has still been preserved today. A lot of these people who lived in Catholic countries, the Catholic Church would make sure that all of their books were destroyed, and that no copies were left. The Catholic Church was very good at burning books, at destroying books, and then destroying, the person. In other words, burning the person who wrote the book. The Catholic institution, the Roman Church, so to speak, was very good at doing that. I'm going to take a sip of water, viewers. Let me see if I can cut this sound on. Okay, one moment. Oh goodness. I have found that if I bring some water while I'm doing these videos, and drink occasionally, I do speak better, and my throat does not become as dry, which is excellent. But Marguerite Porete is another individual who I quite respect. But all of this is going to be very personal. I will make sure to explain all of the different words and terminology in these books. For now, though, as I said, I'm going to stick to the spiritual guide that Molinos had written. And I do have a playlist. I think for those of you who watch the video game videos, in other words, if you are interested in Elden Ring, especially, that will take a while, mostly because I'm bored of it. I would say, because many people probably do not know, they probably wonder, what is this channel really about? I started this channel primarily to review and to basically discover and show people symbolism in media. That basically centered around Japanese manga, video games. Most of the games I talk about on this channel are Japanese. But I started out as doing a few videos about Demon Souls, and then Elden Ring. And I did quite a few videos about that. Now with the Elden Ring, as a game, I've reviewed so much of it that I think I will probably look at it again when the final DLC releases. Hopefully this is the final DLC, because my computer really cannot take all of this data on it, because it's not really a big computer. Hopefully one day I will have a bigger computer. This is the one I'm using now is a laptop. And of course those are not as big as... What is this on my screen? Something that just popped up. Okay. Actually, let me cut the internet off because I'm not really using it. Okay, but hopefully this last DLC will be the last one. The previous one that they released apparently was not so good. I have the DLC, but I still have not played it. Elden Ring as a game has been so difficult that I have not really had the enthusiasm to do it. So I really have not touched Elden Ring since. I have to make space on my computer and re-download it again. Now what am I planning to do in regard to videos? I may make more Final Fantasy VIII content. I have a whole video that I want to do in regard to some symbolism in that game. Excuse me. And basically, as I said, I want to do some videos. I want to do a whole series of videos about quiet prayer. If you are one of the people who subscribe to the channel, for the religious content, for the Christian content, please take a look at that. You may like it. See how you like it. See if it is something that you would be interested in. A lot of people do not know about how the Catholic Church persecuted Miguel de Molinos and what was in his book. People wonder, why at times do you see Catholics talk about Quietism? Some people have not heard, some of the homilies, or rather sermons, that some Catholic priests give, in which they quite literally, talk badly about Quietism. You wonder, what is Quietism? What is that? And you would be surprised that these Catholics are simply talking about quiet prayer, that has been separated from so many of the ceremonial methods that are basically part and parcel of the Catholic Church. But because these people decided to basically solely rely upon natural, quiet prayer, for the most part, it is not as though they do not speak, but everything that, those quietists were doing was natural. If it was not from the heart, they would not do it. They did not do ceremonial things for ceremony's sake. Every word that a person basically uses in prayers like that are, all natural for the most part. People try to be very not they try to not be artificial. They try to be genuine. And they try to have a real, relationship with the Lord, for lack of a better word. And they're not trying to be fake. Let me put it that way. As for the book in question, the language will be somewhat dated, but I will help my viewers understand every word. I have numerous dictionaries to help you, and I will be basically reading it out loud and basically helping you understand all of the concepts within it. Anyhow, viewers, I suppose this has been somewhat of an update. It is probably going to be quite rough to listen to, but nonetheless, I have done it. I have to say that update videos are not necessarily my best type of videos, or really something I'm very good at doing. But I think some people may like them. Personally, I have noticed it. Not too many people really watch them, but I suppose some people may be interested. And I have quite intelligent, quite interesting subscribers, which I appreciate a great deal. Anyhow, viewers, may you be blessed, and farewell, viewers.